Hello, welcome to VNews Podcast Daily. I'm following today's highlights.
Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng writes an article voicing the nation's resolve to overcome weaknesses and challenges in 2013. Ho Chi Minh City warmly welcomes first foreign tourists. Indian naval ship is visiting central Da Nang city.
On the occasion of the New Year, Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng has written an article voicing the nation's resolve to overcome weaknesses and challenges, curb inflation and promote growth and sustainable development.
In the article, Prime Minister Dũng said though Vietnam scored many achievements in 2012, the year 2013 is a tough year for the nation with many difficulties and challenges. Vietnam's main export markets and investment countries have not escaped their economic sluggishness. The high risk and instability of the world's big economies remain inevitable. As a result, negative impacts from the world economy will still hang over the country, he predicts. Prime Minister Dũng points out that the state management remains weak and certain groups of public servants show poor responsibility and performance. Corruption and waste are reported everywhere. All these weaknesses are reflected in the country's economic and societal picture. The macroeconomy remains unstable and the threat of a high inflation rate is still hanging over the country. Enterprises, resources, and people's income are declining. Market confidence is still at a low level. Dũng writes about the dark schemes to destabilize the national political system and society, as well as the acts to encroach the country's sovereignty and territorial integrity. To achieve the overall objectives of 2013, Prime Minister Dũng has laid out 6 main tasks as follows. To improve the quality and effectiveness of policies in order to cultivate confidence in the market. To create monetary policy based on market development and the objective of curbing the inflation rate, it is imperative to combine monetary policy with financial policy. To help enterprises overcome difficulties in production and consumption. To speed up the process of administrative reform while promoting a high sense of responsibility to public servants. To accelerate the process of economic restructuring. And finally, to ensure social security. He urges the entire party, army and people to try their utmost to carry out the 6 major tasks, but not to forget the other tasks assigned to them, particularly in ensuring national security and defense, law and order, protecting national sovereignty, and improving the nation's prestige and position in the international arena. He says he was confident that with a sense of responsibility and self-reliance and tradition of solidarity and unity, the Vietnamese people and nation will certainly overcome all difficulties and challenges to carry out the 2013 socio-economic tasks successfully.
Yasuki Tanizaki, Japanese ambassador to Vietnam, has affirmed that the process of transforming their growing relations to strategic cooperative ties is inevitable to Japan and Vietnam. He talked about the relations in an interview with Vietnam News Agency.
Ambassador Yasuaki Tanizaki was assigned by the Japanese government to lead the organizing board of the Japan-Vietnam Friendship Year in 2013, when the two countries mark the 40th anniversary of their diplomatic ties. He said the events proposed for the Friendship Year include friendly football matches, fashion shows and food festivals. The events will target young people because they are essential to preserving and promoting the two countries' growing ties. The events will illustrate Japanese people's gratitude to Vietnamese people's support and sympathy after the devastating earthquake and tsunami in 2011, Tanizaki said. Cultural similarities and a respect for each other are the foundations for the two countries to increase ties in recent years. Japan is the largest foreign investor in Vietnam, with registered capital investment of over $27 billion, including $4 billion from the first half of 2012. It is expected to further invest in Vietnam in the future. Japan has pledged to support Vietnam in realizing its industrialization and modernization leading up to 2020.
On the first day of the new year, Ho Chi Minh City warmly welcomed first foreign tourists who landed at Tân Sơn Nhất International Airport.
The lucky travelers included 350 tourists from Frankfurt, Germany, and 150 visitors from Hong Kong. The guests were greeted by senior officials of the Municipal Department of Culture, Sports and Tourism. In 2012, Ho Chi Minh City received 3.8 million foreign tourists, an increase of 8.5% from last year, accounting for 56% of all international arrivals to the country. Tourism generated 68 trillion Vietnamese dong for the city, or 42.5% of the national total.
India's naval ship in Sudashini, carrying 6 officers and 70 sailors, is making a 3-day goodwill visit to central Da Nang City. It docked at Dien Sa Port on January 1st.
During their stay, the crew planned to meet the leaders of Da Nang's People Committee and visit famous natural beauty, sports and heritage sites in Hue and Hội An cities. They will play a friendly volleyball match with soldiers of Navy High Command Zone 3. The visits by the Indian training vessels marks the 20th anniversary of ASEAN-India relations and the 40th anniversary of Vietnam-India relations. Vietnam and India have intensified their cooperation in many fields, especially defense and security. They held a defense dialogue in New Delhi last September.
Vietnamese traditional opera known as Chao is losing its charm to the emergence of other art forms. Realizing the threat, many artists have devoted time and energy to preserve these folk art.
In order to stage Chao, a unique distinctive genre of opera of Vietnam, the artists must first rehearse for up to 2 months. However, their hard working seemingly gains slight interest from audiences. It is not only Chao, as other kinds of folk arts are also finding it hard to attract young audiences. But our performers are determined to bring more creative and interesting show to audiences before long. The Chao artists toiled to keep the essence of Chao as well as add new features to satisfy today's audiences. Many successful plays have impressed the audience like Quan Nam Thị Kính, Goddess of Mercy, Quan Lớn Về Làng, Top Mandarin's Visits Village, or Shita. That's why Chao still holds its own with spectators. Each play carries its own message from which we can learn. I'm sure that young people will enjoy seeing this kind of production. Support from Chao lovers truly a sort of encouragement for performers to keep up with their careers and promote their special style of folk art. I have worked for the Hanoi Chao Theatre for 5 years. I took up this career because I was born in Tai Binh Province, the birthplace of Chao. It has been in my blood since I was a child. I got very discouraged once because it's only attracted a few people. Yet, whenever I am applauded for performing Chao around the country, I get excited and enthusiastic about preserving the art. Hanoi Chao Theatre is working out plans to encourage more pupils and students, especially first and second graders, to learn more about this traditional opera and its charming melody. We plan to stage new performances adapted to fairy tales to make things easier for them to understand. Over the next 5 or 7 years, the kids will grow up knowing that it is essential to preserve this kind of folk art.
And this is the end of our news today. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.